Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bold and Beautiful. Today you gave me a fake CT scan. Finn aggressively rants at Grace after discovering her scheme. When Bridget and Finn realize their patient is no longer there, Liam has surgery and his tumor is miraculously removed. Nick urged Brooke to travel to Italy, and Bill and Grace persuaded Liam to have experimental surgery. Sitting with Bill at a luxury surgery facility, Liam feels anxious. He is anxious about the upcoming experimental surgery. According to his father, there is no other option. This could heal him, while the other choice is merely buy time. Optimism is the best way, says Grace, who joins them. She supports this process. Bill's son is stressed out because he paces. Grace introduces Dr. Adhikari, the surgeon, and claims he is the greatest in the field. That's what Bill hopes. Bill is pulled aside by Grace, who questions him about payment. What it is doesn't matter to him. All he wants is to keep his son around. He turns to face his son and declares his love for him. Bill phones his accountant and requests that he send a wire right away. The doctor must be an expert in his field. Liam's head is cut open by Grace and Adhikari while they operate on him in the operating room. In the waiting room, Bill paces. The wire goes through, and he receives a text. Bill prays to God that he won't lose his son. He is free to take him if he has to. Grace comes out and says Liam is getting better. To see Liam, they enter. He's still not conscious. Grace tells that the entire tumor was removed, and Adhikari says everything went smoothly. It was a marvel of medicine. They tell Bill that his son can survive, even though he was told there was no chance. The odds were 1 in a million, according to Bill. Finn and Bridget discuss Liam at the hospital. Despite not checking in on him this morning, they both respect his selflessness and the fact that he has now saved Steffi. Poppy arrives and wants to speak with Finn about her daughter. Although Luna loved him intensely, she is aware that her daughter never felt she had done her a favor. She regrets a lot about Luna, but the thing that will bother her the most is not telling him who her father is. Bridget departs, and Poppy speculates because she is happy that Luna is dead. Finn believes she is a terrible mother. However, she would have been imprisoned for 2 murders she did not commit by her daughter. Finn is aware that Luna was upset. According to Poppy, he must be experiencing the finality of loss because she was still their biological child. I can't do this right now, he says. He believes she has come to him in order to feel better. He has been summoned to see a patient. When a nurse tells Bridget that Grace gave Liam over to Bill's care, Bridget is taken aback. After telling Finn that Liam has been freed, she flees. He wasn't in any condition for that, according to both of them. According to Bridget, this might be advantageous. Bill would go to any lengths for his son. Steffi discusses the unbelievable nature of the beach house shooting with Carter and Hope at Forrester. Liam is an amazing man, according to Steffi. Brooke joins them in declaring Liam to be a real hero. She wishes everyone had been aware of his tumor so they could have offered him assistance. Steffi informs them that Liam pursued Luna after she called him pitiful. Carter questions Finn's reaction to Luna's passing. Steffi informs them about Luna's desperation and obsession. She refuses to cry for her. Hope and Steffi hope Liam never has to go to an operating room again. They are unhappy because they believe Bill will take him home. Get casting news, recaps, and spoilers in one location. Join now to avoid missing a twist. Is the secret known to Dr. Buckingham? Dr. Grace Buckingham might be in on the secret when it comes to whether or not Luna is alive or dead. For all the information you require, continue reading below. Is the secret known to Dr. Buckingham? According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, there is a lot of conjecture that Luna is still alive and well. This is because it's quite likely that her Aunt Lee saved her life during the surgery, but she chose to keep it a secret. Given that she was working alongside Lee in the operating room, Dr. Buckingham could be the only other person having this information. Dr. Buckingham is shown receiving a sizable deposit on her phone on the most recent episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. Is this a case of hush money to hide what happened? Fans are curious about that. It's also feasible that Lee is currently concealing Luna and will continue to do so for as long as possible or until the moment comes to reveal the truth about what actually transpired. Luna may still be alive. Lee does think that Luna is still a good child who has simply been led in the wrong road by her errant mother, Poppy. She is therefore making every effort to offer herself another chance at life. For this reason, she also requires Dr. Buckingham and others to remain silent. For better or worse, Lee needs everyone's cooperation, even though this may be highly unethical. Keep an eye on this area. Liam Spencer, who sat rigidly beside his father, Bill Spencer Jr., a man whose usual aura of invincible command had been stripped away, leaving behind raw, exposed fear. Liam's fingers clenched and unclenched on the cold vinyl armrests, his gaze fixed unseeingly on the abstract art across the hallway, a chaotic swirl of color mirroring the turmoil within his skull. The experimental procedure looming before him wasn't just another medical option, it was a terrifying leap into the unknown, a Hail Mary pass thrown against a terminal diagnosis that had shadowed his every step, a malignant intruder threatening to steal his future, his chance to see his daughter grow, his fragile peace. His voice, when it finally broke the suffocating silence, was a strained whisper, barely audible above the thrumming of his own terrified pulse. "Dad, are we sure? Absolutely sure this is the only way?" Bill, usually a master of decisive pronouncements, felt the weight of his son's life crushing his shoulders. He turned, his eyes, normally sharp as flint, now clouded with a paternal anguish he rarely displayed, his hand finding Liam's shoulder, the grip firm, grounding, yet trembling with suppressed emotion. "Son," he began, the word heavy, "the other roads, they're dead ends paved with borrowed time. Pain management, slowing the growth, they just delay the inevitable. This," he gestured vaguely towards the imposing double doors leading to the operating suites, "this could be the cure. The only shot at ripping this thing out for good." The arrival of Grace Buckingham, her presence a calculated blend of poise and persuasive energy, offered a counterpoint to Bill's grim pragmatism. She moved with the quiet confidence of someone who had orchestrated miracles from the shadows before, her smile warm but purposeful as she settled beside Liam, her hand briefly covering his white-knuckled fist. "Optimism, Liam," she stated, her voice smooth and unwavering, a balm trying to soothe raw nerves, "isn't just a state of mind right now, it's the most potent medicine we have. I've seen the data, I've vetted the team. I believe in this procedure. You need to believe in it too, with everything you have." Yet, Bill's belief manifested as a caged predator, his pacing a relentless circuit across the small, plush waiting area, each sharp turn, each heavy footfall reverberating through the tense space, amplifying Liam's anxiety rather than alleviating it. The rhythmic sound was a drumbeat of doom in Liam's ears, a constant reminder of the high-stakes gamble they were taking. Grace, sensing the escalating tension, rose gracefully, intercepting Bill mid-stride just as the surgical suite doors hissed open. Dr. Raj Adhikari entered, his demeanor radiating the calm authority of a seasoned neurosurgeon, his dark eyes intelligent and assessing. "Liam, Bill," he greeted with a professional nod. "We're ready." Grace placed a reassuring hand on Bill's arm, her voice dropping to a low, confident murmur meant only for him. "Bill, Dr. Adhikari is quite simply the best. There's no one else I would trust with this." Bill's gaze locked onto the surgeon, a silent plea mixed with fierce scrutiny burning in his eyes. "You better be," he stated, the words clipped, heavy with unspoken threat and desperate hope. As Adhikari guided Liam towards the doors, a new, sharper urgency gripped Grace. She deftly steered Bill a few steps further away, her voice now a conspiratorial whisper, cutting through the emotional fog. "Bill, the financials, the final transfer? It needs to be confirmed now." Bill didn't even blink, his focus entirely consumed by his son's retreating figure. "Whatever it costs," he rasped, the words raw, stripped of all his billionaire's calculation, "I don't care if it wipes me out. Just don't let me lose him. Not my son." He pulled his phone out with a jerk, his fingers stabbing at the screen, connecting instantly to his accountant. "Send it. Now. The full amount. Wire it through immediately." The call ended abruptly. He stared at the phone, then towards the operating room doors, his voice dropping to a guttural, private vow aimed at unseen forces, that doctor better know exactly what the hell he's doing. Inside the sanctum of technology and sterility, bathed in the unforgiving glare of surgical lights, Liam's world dissolved into the cool sting of antiseptic and the detached, precise movements of the masked figures around him. Grace, scrubbed and gowned, observed with a hawk-like intensity as Adhikari directed the anesthesiologist. Liam's eyes, wide with primal fear, searched Grace's for a final anchor before the drug surged through his veins, pulling him down into oblivion. Then, with a terrifying finality, the scalpel, wielded by Adhikari's steady hand but guided by Grace's unwavering presence, breached skin and bone, opening a path to the deadly invader nestled deep within Liam's brain. Back in the waiting room, time warped into an agonizing crawl for Bill Spencer. Minutes felt like hours, hours like an eternity spent pacing a path into the expensive carpet. The soft chime of his phone announcing the confirmed wire transfer offered no solace, merely a transactional echo in the void of uncertainty. Alone, the facade of the powerful titan crumbled completely. He sank into a chair, head bowed, his shoulders shaking not with anger, but with a profound, soul-wrenching terror. His prayer, whispered into the oppressive silence, was a raw bargain with a deity he rarely acknowledged, stripped of all pride. Please, not him. Don't take my boy. If you need someone, take me. I'm older, I've lived, just, please, not Liam. When Grace finally emerged, still in her scrubs, her expression unreadably professional, Bill surged to his feet, his heart hammering against his ribs, bracing for the worst. Her words, simple and direct, hit him like a physical blow of relief. He's in recovery, Bill. The journey to the recovery room was a blur. Liam lay unnervingly still, a complex web of tubes and monitors tracing the fragile rhythm of his life, his head swathed in stark white bandages. The sight stole Bill's breath. Dr. Adhikari joined them, his calm demeanor infused with a palpable undercurrent of something extraordinary. The procedure, he began, his voice measured but carrying a weight that silenced the room. It went, remarkably well. Better than projected. Grace stepped forward, her eyes gleaming with triumph she couldn't fully contain. Bill, she said, her voice thick with emotion, it's a medical miracle. The entire tumor, it was encapsulated. Dr. Adhikari was able to remove it. Completely. The words hung in the air, monumental, almost incomprehensible. Completely? Bill echoed, his voice cracking, the disbelief warring with a dawning, overwhelming joy. But, they said it was inoperable. Hopeless. Adhikari nodded slowly. The location, the infiltration, conventional wisdom deemed it so. This experimental approach, the precision, and frankly, a degree of favorable anatomy we couldn't have anticipated without direct visualization. We achieved a gross total resection. The pathology will confirm, but visually, it's gone. Bill staggered, grasping the bed rail for support, his gaze fixed on his unconscious son, tears welling in eyes unused to such vulnerability. The crushing weight of impending loss lifted, replaced by a giddy, terrifying lightness. A 1 in a million chance, he breathed, awe and disbelief mingling. You gave him back his life. Miles away, within the bustling, fluorescent-lit corridors of the main hospital, a different kind of tension simmered, oblivious to the seismic shift in Liam Spencer's fate. Dr. John Finnegan and Dr. Bridget Forrester, crossing paths near the neurology wing, paused. Have you checked on Liam this morning? Bridget inquired, her brow furrowed with professional concern. Finn shook his head, a shadow passing over his features. Not yet. Rounds were brutal. He's been remarkably stoic, hasn't he? Considering. His voice trailed off, the unspoken terminal diagnosis hanging heavy. Bridget nodded, her expression softening. Beyond stoic. Selfless. To think, carrying that burden, knowing, and still rushing into that beach house to save Steffi. Finn's jaw tightened, a complex mix of gratitude and residual horror flickering in his eyes. Yeah. A courage I'm not sure I fully grasped until now. Their quiet moment of shared admiration for their patient was shattered by the hesitant arrival of Poppy Nozawa. Her usual vibrant energy was subdued, replaced by a profound weariness and a palpable grief that seemed to deepen the lines on her face. "Finn," she began, her voice uncharacteristically small, "could we talk? About Luna?" Finn's posture stiffened, a defensive wall instantly rising. Poppy plowed on, her words tumbling out in a rush of long-suppressed guilt. I know Luna thought I failed her. That I was never the mother she needed. But Finn," her voice cracked, "she loved you. Fiercely. Obsessively, yes, but it was real to her." She looked down, twisting her hands. "I have a lifetime of regrets where Luna is concerned. So many things I'd do differently. But not telling you, of all people, who her father was. That," she met his gaze, her eyes swimming with tears, "that will haunt me until my dying breath." Bridget, sensing the deeply personal nature of the conversation, murmured an excuse and tactfully withdrew, leaving Finn facing the raw anguish of Luna's mother. Poppy misinterpreted his silence, her voice turning defensive, brittle. "You think I'm horrible, don't you? For feeling relief? That she's gone?" Finn flinched. Poppy continued, her voice rising slightly, "She would have left me in prison, Finn. For 2 murders I didn't commit. She set me up." Luna was disturbed, Poppy, Finn stated flatly, the clinical detachment a thin shield over his own roiling emotions, grief for the innocent girl lost, horror at the monster she became, anger at the devastation she left behind. Deeply, dangerously disturbed. "She was still our flesh and blood." Poppy cried, the maternal instinct warring with betrayal. "My daughter. And she loved you. Can't you feel it? The finality? The emptiness where she used to be." The raw pain in her plea was overwhelming. Finn, grappling with his own complex grief, mourning not the killer, but the potential, the patient he'd tried to help, the woman whose love had curdled into deadly obsession, shook his head, his voice tight with strain. "Poppy, I can't do this right now." He saw her flinch, saw the accusation in her eyes, that he was dismissing her pain. "I'm not here to absolve you or make you feel better. I have to go." As if summoned by his need for escape, his pager buzzed insistently. He seized the lifeline. "I'm needed." He turned and walked away, leaving Poppy standing alone in the corridor, engulfed by her solitary grief and regret. Bridget, meanwhile, had moved towards the nurse's station to follow up on another patient when the casual remark from a passing nurse froze her in her tracks. "Oh, Dr. Forrester, just so you know, Mr. Spencer's discharge paperwork was signed off by Dr. Buckingham earlier. He's already left with his father." Bridget's blood ran cold. "What? Discharged? That's impossible. He just had major brain surgery." She spun around, her professional alarm bell screaming, and practically ran down the hall, intercepting Finn just as he was about to enter a patient's room. "Finn," she gasped, grabbing his arm. "Liam's gone. Grace Buckingham signed him out AMA. Bill took him." Finn's eyes widened in disbelief, mirroring her own. "What? That's insane. He was in no condition for discharge. He needs intensive monitoring, potential complications." Bridget's initial shock began to crystallize into a more complex, albeit uneasy, acceptance. Insane? Maybe. Dangerous? Absolutely. But... She paused, a flicker of reluctant understanding crossing her face. "Think about it, Finn. Bill Spencer. That man would move heaven and earth, break every rule, spend every dime. He worships Liam. And now, after getting him that miracle, he's not going to let him out of his sight. In Bill's mind, he's saving him again, keeping him safe on his own terms." Simultaneously, in the elegant, sunlit design office at Forrester Creations, the aftermath of the beach house shooting dominated conversation, though the shadow of Liam's illness now colored every word. Steffi, still bearing the emotional scars of her ordeal, sat with Carter Walton and Hope Logan. "It still feels unreal," Steffi murmured, tracing the rim of her coffee cup. 1 minute, chaos, terror, the next, Liam just stepping in front of me. Carter shook his head, admiration clear. The man's got courage most of us only read about. Hope added softly, he really is an incredible man, Steffi. Brooke Logan swept in, her presence radiating a mix of maternal concern and fierce pride. Incredible? He's a hero. A true hero. Her expression clouded. If only we'd known about the tumor, the burden he was carrying alone. We could have been there for him, supported him properly. Steffi's face hardened slightly. Luna made sure to twist the knife. Right before, she was trashing him, Carter. Calling him pathetic, worthless. That's what finally made him snap, go after her. Carter winced. Speaking of Luna, how is Finn handling it all? Her death, the fallout? Steffi's response was immediate and icy. Luna was desperate. Obsessive. Dangerous. She nearly destroyed our family, multiple times. She shot at us, Finn. I won't shed a single tear for her. Finn, he's processing. It's complicated. The group fell into a somber silence, united by their shared trauma and concern for Liam. Hope voiced the collective prayer, let's just hope Liam never has to see the inside of an operating room again. Steffi nodded. Bill will take him home. Wrap him in Spencer cotton wool. Her tone held a mixture of resignation and disapproval. Not ideal, but, it's Bill. Unbeknownst to them, as they spoke of Bill taking Liam home, the miracle patient had already vanished from the hospital's care. Liam, unconscious and vulnerable, was being whisked away not towards the familiar comfort of his own home or even Bill's luxurious penthouse, but to an undisclosed location chosen by a father riding the euphoric, terrifying high of a divine intervention he'd paid for, a father whose overwhelming love and controlling nature now posed a new, unforeseen threat to the son he had just miraculously saved. The scalpel had delivered its miracle, but the vanishing act orchestrated by Bill Spencer, witnessed only by the frantic doctors left behind, signaled that the true drama, the battle for Liam's recovery and future, had merely shifted battlegrounds, leaving Bridget and Finn staring at an empty room, grappling with the terrifying question, where was Liam Spencer, and what price would this miraculous salvation ultimately demand? The spoilers, recaps, and casting twists were just beginning.